So, welcome to Planet Hex, I'm Andrew Horn. Today I'm going to do this show live here on Twitch because, to be honest, I couldn't think of what to do for this week's episode. I'm going to talk about tapes again. I'm going to go look on eBay, check out some ex-rentals and some standees and some memorabilia. But it's been a bit of a weird week. I've been laid up still with my with a really painful ankle. My right ankle was screwed up. So I was favouring the left, so when the right got better, the left started being unwell as well. So I've been in a lot of discomfort this week. But I've been seeing the doctors. The doctors were really helpful. They examined me and got it sorted out, so I'm on the mend now, so I'm pleased about that. This has given me a lot of time. I work from home anyway, so around that I've not been able to do anything. So my wife's had to do all the stuff, so she's been an absolute star this week. But I have been going through many vintage horror magazines, Warzones and Toxics and Fangorias and things like that. It has also given me a chance to do some work on this. So I've done a new compilation of VHS trailers called VHS Ate My Brain Volume 2, which I will be streaming on Twitch before too long. It's another hour of just crazy trailers that don't fit together. And that's one of the joys of these things, I find, that is the idea of looking around a video store, like with the first VHS Ate My Brain compilation I did, which was screened on Twitch, which is still on my Twitch channel if you want to go and see that, was to recreate the feeling of just browsing a video store and just seeing random things rather than things that are really kind of grouped together. However, there is definitely a skew towards horror movies because, you know, it's me. And the other thing I have been working on, the revised edition of VHS Ate My Brain is done. It is done, and I have the proofs. This is my second proof. I ordered a proof, went through it, needed to tweak a couple of layout things and move the cover around a little bit. But that's why it says not for resale, because this is a proof edition, it's a proof copy. May give these away at some point, which is the proof editions. So here it is. It will be out soon. I'll be announcing a proper release date for this soon, and all the stuff that's going to go with it as well. You know, there's going to be some form of launch events. There's going to be something going on around this book, and there may be some appearances around the country by me as we go on. But we shall see. I'm really looking forward to just seeing what happens with this. I know it's not technically not a new book, but there is a lot of new material in it, and there's a lot of photos from the archive. Oh, my old copy of Shock 'Em Dead there. I do miss Shock 'Em Dead. There's new stuff about the 80s video shop in there and things that happened since VHS Ate My Brain, and the entire original book is in there revised. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with that and getting out there and talking to some more tape heads. So I'm very, very much excited about getting out there and seeing my people again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and check out some tapes. It's time. So it's one of those weird periods where you take a lot of stock of the things that make your life what it is. You know, I've not been well with my ankles, which have led to a lot of kind of even sickness. The pain was so bad at one point. Ooh, Batman Returns standee. I'm just looking at some standees and promos and things here. Let's have a look at these. And you know, I'm really pleased with the life that I've been lucky enough to live, and I'm very grateful to like independent creators lately that have really shown a lot of love towards VHS Ate My Brain and the things that we talk about here. There's a great sense of community going on at the moment, and I really appreciate that. But more than that, I was wondering if I would start to regret basing giving so much time to things that, you know, are just old movies and that sort of thing. But I regret nothing. The more of these things that I see, the more of these things that I look for, I'm just enjoying them more and more all the time. And yeah, they're old-fashioned, but so am I, you know? So am I. And there's nothing wrong with being a bit old-fashioned. And it's making me happy. I can't say anything other than that. VHS X rental I saw someone had done a search there on big box horror. Now that is right up my street. Something I do want to do a video on at some point is the stuff that was missing from a certain film. Now that certain film is Trick or Treat. Now, you know, a lot of people know that I'm a huge fan of the Trick or Treat movie, the Sammy Kerr movie, Eddie Weinbauer, cameos from Ozzy and Gene Simmons. Have I got any of my Trick or Treat stuff around me? I have the soundtrack. I have Trick or Treat t-shirts, the soundtrack, vinyl, posters, all kinds of stuff. And I've been reading in the vintage horror magazines that I have, piecing together an interesting little chunk of knowledge about Trick or Treat, in that there's about 20 minutes of footage of effects by Kevin Yeager, the guy that used to apply Freddy makeup in the Elm Street movies that were never used, and I wonder if it's out there anywhere. So not only is that out there, I wonder if there are any earlier versions of the script around, because the script was retooled from the original to be more commercial and less brutal. And so what we got eventually with Trick or Treat, as much as I love it, is apparently an amalgam of what it would have been and a slightly sanitized story. Apparently the first hour of it is great, but the ending was altered, and there's some stuff done to it that didn't sit well with everyone that worked on it, from what I've been reading in the old Fangorias and Gore Zones. I know opinions may have changed since then, but I think that'd be an interesting thing to take a look at. There is some stuff missing from Trick or Treat, and that's I know it's about as niche as it gets, because this is from like '86, but I think that's something that may hold my attention, so watch this space on that. I may see if I can put something together on what we didn't see in Trick or Treat. So at the moment I'm going to go and check out some of these. Oh, hello. That's not a bad price for Nightbreed. I know there is a copy of Nightbreed in town for about 12 quid in one of the places I like to visit, and that could be a good one to look at. As ever, always take a look at other things that people are selling. Whoops, what did I click on? The final chapter. It wasn't though, was it? Because you never know what you're going to find when you take a look at those. I'm going to open up Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers because that is so fun. And a media copy of I Drink Your Blood. Very cool. Very cool. Phantasm 2. Can't go wrong for a $5 with Phantasm 2. What a great movie. Audition. Tales from the Crypt. Incidentally, at the moment on Pluto TV here in the UK, there is a dedicated Tales from the Crypt Keeper channel that just shows the cartoon on a loop. And the kids discovered it. The kids came home from school the other day, and I had it on in the background, and they were immediately transfixed by Tales from the Crypt Keeper. It holds up surprisingly well. It does feel a little bit like the Goosebumps movie, the 2 Goosebumps movie. But in terms of tone, but it holds together well, and the Crypt Keeper is quite a fun thing to see. Wow, an elephant video edition of City of the Living Dead. That's an interesting one. The Reanimator trilogy for a tenner. That's not bad. Now, Beyond Reanimator is far from perfect just because of the budget. I mean, the performances are fine, but the budget was not ideal. But it'd be nice to have all 3 together. That would be very cool. Bloody Birthday, Brain Dead. There we go. This comes up. I've noticed this started to come up a bit now. Friday the 13th of Legacy, the TV series that did not have Jason in it. 40 quid for Spookies. That price is going up on that. I think mine was like a £5 or something, if that. Probably about 2 quid. Where did I get Spookies from? I think I may even got Spookies from Book Scene here in Nottingham, the old second-hand bookstore. American Nightmare Big Box X rental for 99p on Media. Okay, let's take a look at some of these that I've got open here. This is a good start. Opened up Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers there because I love this cover, and I love it that the censors or the censorship at the time led to this having the word chainsaw removed from the title. on the box. So on the box it just is called Hollywood Hookers, but it's actually called Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. They've just taken off the word and left a picture of a chainsaw there, and that really, I find that very funny. We've got I Drink Your Blood here. That's a really cool looking tape, very good looking tape. It's post-cert. There is a certificate on there, but that is VPD Media Edition. That is really cool. That post-cert can't be post-cert. That came out before the came out in '83. I thought the BBFC stuff started in '84. I may be wrong though. But that is a beautiful looking tape, and that's not a bad price for it. 32 quid on that is not a bad price. That is quite. It's a bit of a hard watch, but it is a lot of fun. So let's have a look at this City of the Living Dead. Look at the cover art on that. Love the cover art on that. These painted covers, they just don't get old. They're so cool. Just glorious. Great Fulci movie. Again, that's got an 18 on it, so that is has that sticker been applied afterwards? Let's have a look on the back of it. No, that is that edition does have a certificate on it, so that's after the BBFC Act. Okay, but let's have a look what else that seller's got on their list, because that looks like a very promising one. The Sound City of the Living Dead, even on that edition at just £15, that's a really good price. You can't go wrong with that. Let's have a look. We've got The Dentist, Wanderers, Diamond Trap. The others for 25. That's quite high for the others. And then you've got Shocker at £12.99. I thought that would be okay. I thought Shocker would be more expensive than that, but that's interesting. Wing Commander, Puppet Master 18.99. That's X-Rental, Incubus. Some nice tapes there. I'm a little loath to pay high money for them at the moment because just life. But you know, I like a deal. I like low prices at the moment just because of everything he says, waving his hands around vaguely. So this is a nice one. This is the Reanimator trilogy that I picked up and had a look at earlier. So we've got Reanimator 1, absolute classic. You can't go wrong with it. We've got Reanimator 2, which I feel upped the kitsch factor a lot, and that was really cool. And then we got Beyond Reanimator, which came out a long time after that, and right at the back end of VHS being a thing. But that would be really cool to have all those three together, and £10 for those three is really good. That's a really good price. Let's have a look at the state of the tape. So Reanimator, no mold on it. Nice Entertainment in Video label, nice stamp from the old video store it was from. What else have we got? Let's have a look at the other tapes. Nice and thorough with all the photos. This is a really good example if you want to really show people what you're selling. Show them what you're selling. Yep, Reanimator 2 looks in good condition. Let's have a look at Beyond Reanimator. Who did that come out on? Okay, that was Mosaic that put that out. Beyond Reanimator. I think there's flakes on there. It's just a bit of dust rather than any mold or anything. But that's a nice batch of tapes. I really like that. That's respect for putting out something that's good value. That's good value, and because you've got them bundled together, that's a really cool little bundle for anyone that wants to pick those up. So yeah, Friday the 13th Legacy. Don't be tricked into thinking that is a Friday the 13th movie that you've not seen. It's the TV series. Didn't have Jason in it. It had these. It had these like antique hunters in there that were tasked with tracking down a load of cursed artifacts that had escaped. They were all sold off when the antique stores when their Uncle Lewis died. So these cousins set about retrieving all these things. But yeah, it's not got Jason in it. Made that mistake myself when it was originally being shown. So this Spookies. Let's have a look. Good condition. Label looks good. Palace Premiere. It's got the Palace Premiere box. Let's have a look at the artwork on there. Now, I've seen this tape pop up a few times, but it's very rarely in a really good condition. Let's have a look at the top of the cover as well. Mate, that's cracking. That's great. There's a little bit of wear on the top of the box here and there, but that is a really good looking edition of Spookies. Do read up on that movie if you haven't, because of the making of it. It's just how it came to be is quite something in itself. Do check that out. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got this. I was going to have a look at this because it is a media tape, and those are rare as heck. Wow, what a nice setup. I'm so jealous. Are they selling the shelves? Dude, are you selling the shelves as well? Awesome. I've got to go and have a look at this now. This looks cool. But yeah, American Nightmare on Big Box X rental, 99p. Not one I want, but that means potentially some awesome stuff else on their listing. So let's have a look. So we've got American Nightmare, Avalanche, Elm Street 2 for $10.50. That's not bad for a big box. Usually you see that on small box. So we've got Angel of Vengeance for $2.19. That's not bad either. X rental Elm Street 1, $5.50. I may have to have a look at that. That's very cool. I mean, Darkness just rewatched that. That was great. Slipcase one, and 9.5 weeks. So I'm not seeing any of the shelving that they showed there, but I'm going to keep that Elm Street 1 in mind because that is glorious. CBS Fox video. Cover looks a little bit faded, but it's got that glorious Graham Humphreys artwork on it. That's cool. That's very cool. Let's have a look at the tape. Yeah, the tape's looking good. The tape is looking very good. So I'll keep that open. I may have to place a bid on that in a little while. This looks awesome. Now, I could never lay down $2,000 for some cardboard, but this Batman Returns standee looks amazing. And I would imagine right now, because of the Flash movie coming out that's got Michael Keaton back as Batman from this reality, I can only imagine that things like this are going to shoot up in value. I mean, there's three actors here: Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, and Michelle Pfeiffer, all of whom are still loved dearly. And you know, these things are only going to go further and further in price. Not just because of the Flash, but because of the constant, regurgitation of Batman and the same stories over and over and over. So I am really hoping that Batman gets to do something different in the films that are coming in the new DC Gods and Monsters series of movies that James Gunn is spearheading. Let's see what else this cell has got. The Rebel Heart. It's a good name. So we've got, okay, there's a Batman Returns era Screens magazine. Okay, I see they're getting a lot of Batman stuff up here. So there's Batman Returns LCD game. Is that like an old Tiger one? Yes, Tiger Electronic. Very cool. There's a lot of retro stuff here that I would be into. Not really any video store stuff, so that's a shame. But there's good on them. Good on them. I hope they do well out of it all, to be honest. So this is an interesting one. We've got a Independence Day. You know, one of the biggest movies of all time. Everyone loved Independence Day at the time, and on the back of it, we've got the Hulk Hogan movie, The Secret Agent Club. Now, everyone knows ID4. Personally, I would have that aside on display because it is more of its era. You know, it has more of that retro vibe because we're very familiar with what the ID4 poster looks like. So something that's a bit more tacky, I think, is quite up my street. What's on this one? This one looks interesting. So, $34.99. Not for everyone. This batch isn't for everyone, but I see here that there is enough value. Not so much Nightmare Vacation 2, because I've got that tape somewhere, and I tried selling it like 20 times for like £1, and no one ever bought it. Still got it. But Moving Violations, that's something you don't see very much on tape. Command Hell, does the devil command in Hell? Not familiar with that. But we've got X-Rental Puppet Master there. Damaged Cover though. Enter the Devil, which again you don't see very often. And we've got the mass market version of Freddy's Revenge. So this is one where it's up to the individual. I mean, it's always up to the individual anyway, but it's a little bit of an odd mix of tapes, that. Now, something I was very grateful for when it was around was Redemption Films. Yep, they had some questionably dodgy covers, and I actually know a couple of people that were on those covers because I have a very odd crazy background in bands and clubbing and DJing, things like that. But these were a really good way of getting hold of movies that you would never see otherwise. I got a lot of giallo movies and weird old horror movies on those tapes back in the day. And while it did feel like you were buying something rude when you took it into the counter, sometimes you were, it was a really good way to get hold of those movies without having to pay out a fortune. Now this is an interesting bundle here because I think there's enough value here for anyone, although this Altered States is a Beyond Vision Cult Classics one, so that's that's a mass market tape, that one. That's not like an X-Rental one. However, these down here, we've got Child's Play 2 and Puppet Master 2. Okay, tip for you. If you're selling stuff off and you're selling it like a bundle at like 30 quid, don't leave a sticker on it that says £1. Come on, that Child's Play 2, it looks pretty good condition, and that has some interest in it because there's always going to be interest in Chucky, as tacky as it is. But that still says £1 on it, so it's clearly been bought from like a charity shop or a car boot sale or something, and just trying to charge £30 for something where it clearly says £1 on it doesn't sit well. Just a thought. And there's this one, this Nightbreed. There is at that weird shop here in Nottingham. There is a copy of Nightbreed. This copy of Nightbreed actually, for about 12 quid. So I'm just going to see what else they've got on their the Fright Night Part 2 promotional time coded Fright Night 2 for £5. To go and watch that. Hardware, great movie, Darkman, and some Lego. Okay, fair enough. Now, something I did look up the other day was video store magazines. I'm not going to do it here because it brought up some very dodgy things as well, which would not go down too well on YouTube or indeed Twitch. I want to find some like Ritz, particularly Ritz. Video store magazines, because I used to get a Ritz video as well as like independent ones. Ritz was like a pre-Blockbuster chain, like Video Magic and things like that, before Blockbuster came along and spoiled everything, and Ritz still felt like a proper video store and not a big chain. And they had their own magazine, and I was ecstatic every time a new one came out because it got adverts in it for upcoming movies. It got little previews, little features and things like that. In the middle it had posters and stuff, and honestly those were magic. Anything like that I found really magic. Like also when I used to go to what was the WB Cinema, I think it was called WB Cinema originally, in the Meadowhall in Sheffield. They used to give away little magazines, little previews magazines, and mini posters for the films. You know, they just put them all on a rack, and you could take what you like. So I ended up with loads of stuff that I would never have really had an interest in. And I think that's one of the things that led to my era when I was about 16, 17. I went to the cinema every week, regardless, and saw something, regardless of what was on. So I saw romantic comedies and dramas, sci-fi movies, horror movies, animation, and all kinds of stuff. And it was really fun. I thought I got a really good look at what was going on at the time, just because I'd gone and not really been bothered about what was showing at the time. But it's nice to know these things are out there. It's nice to do a little bit of window shopping. It's nice to go and make some plans for the eventual return of my home video store. Return? I've never had one. and it's also nice to hold this in my hands. I am really pleased that this is done. So very soon this will be available without the not for resale logo on there. It is done, it is ready, and yes, there's going to be some news about this very soon, about how this is, look, it's way thicker than the original. And I like the I've got a nice check out the spine. I'm loving this. There's going to be some stuff going on around that, and I'm really looking forward to delving into more of the social aspects of this and checking all these things out with you very soon. So thank you very much for watching this live episode of Planet Hex. It's been a pleasure. I am Andrew Horn. I present these things. That's a really good way to end it, isn't it? Please do like and subscribe. I do a full-length episode like this, usually with a bit more planning. On the weekends in the week, I tend to do some short reviews on Planet Hex Review Time over on YouTube. I haven't done those this week because I've had a terrible week of pain, discomfort, headaches, nausea, and a full-time job and parenting, so I've had to take a break from those this week, but hopefully those will be back this coming week, because I've been watching some very cool stuff. In fact, last night I watched a movie you may have heard of called Rye Lane, a romantic comedy that's not like most romantic comedies you'll be aware of, and really bloody loved it. That was great. That was a great film. So hopefully I'll get a review of that out very soon, but for now, this has been an absolute pleasure. It's really good to come and just hang out, so thank you very much. I'm Andrew Horn. Thank you very much for joining me for this live episode of Planet Hex. Can't you tell it's live? I will see you again soon. Bye.